Eddie Hearn is claiming that he hasn't received any offer from Frank Warren, Queensberry Promotions, for Anthony Joshua to face Joe Joyce, because this is what Frank Warren is saying. He's saying they made an approach to Anthony Joshua's people. Now, is Eddie Hearn telling the truth here? Do I believe him? I'm inclined not to believe him, to be honest, because he's got plausible deniability. If AJ comes out and says, oh yeah, my people were contacted about the Joyce fight, he might mean 258 management. He might mean, I don't know, his lawyer or something, or maybe AJ directly. Whereas Eddie Hearn can say, well, I didn't know about that. You know, he sent an email to 258. They never told me anything about it. So, yeah, I suspect that Frank Warren probably has made an approach to 258 or somebody over there on AJ's team with regards to making the Joyce fight. Joyce seems very keen on it. Anthony Joshua, of course, was dismissive of Joyce and said he knocked him out in one round. And, of course, there are videos online of Anthony Joshua looking comfortable in sparring against Joe Joyce. I don't know the context of that sparring, whether it was technical sparring or what it was, but if you just take it at face value, AJ looked very comfortable in there against the juggernaut. So, yeah, make of it what you will. Do you think that Anthony Joshua is lacking in confidence to such a degree that he wouldn't even want to go in there against the guy who he stopped in one round in the amateurs, a guy who he's very familiar with? You know, they say that familiarity breeds contempt. AJ's been in the ring so many times with Joyce, he couldn't even count the amount of times he's been in the ring with him. And with someone like that, you tend to be more confident, because I'm going to imagine that AJ got the better of the majority of those spars. So, yeah, has his confidence dropped to such a degree that he wouldn't even want to risk it against Joe Joyce? Or is it more to do with styles? Because Joyce stylistically is absolutely nothing like Alexander Usyk. And if AJ is trying to prepare for the Usyk rematch, how's the Joyce fight really going to help him other than maybe confidence, as other people have said? If he goes in there against Joyce and manages to do a job on him, then perhaps that's a nice confidence boost, right, against an undefeated heavyweight. But if you're just thinking about it in terms of stylistic preparation for Usyk, it doesn't really make much sense. What I will say is that Eddie Hearn said that Luis Ortiz's team had been in touch to, they've made an offer, or not an offer, but they've been in touch with Eddie Hearn with a view to trying to get that Anthony Joshua fight. Luis Ortiz and his management really need to, how can I even describe it? They need to be mad at themselves, because they were offered the Anthony Joshua fight a couple years back. Was it 2019 when AJ lost to Andy Ruiz? When Jarrell Miller pulled out? Well, I say pulled out. Jarrell Miller was prevented from fighting because of the fact that he'd failed PED tests and they were looking for replacement opponents. They offered several PBC guys the fight. Luis Ortiz was offered something like $7 million. Adam Kaunacki was offered a load of money. Both of the guys turned it down. Luis Ortiz, the guy who said that he's the boogeyman and AJ will never fight him, and of course all the PBC fanboys saying AJ will never fight him, he was offered $7 million. And when Ortiz turned it down, all the PBC fanboys were making a whole heap of excuses. Unbelievable. Ortiz's highest purse before then was something like 3, 4, 500 grand. And he was being offered 7 million, somewhere in the region of 7 million, to fight AJ. Ortiz wasn't mandatory challenger. He wasn't interim champion or anything like that. That would have been a voluntary defense for AJ. And he was offering a guy 7 million and Ortiz turned it down. Unbelievable. So will Ortiz get an opportunity again? And especially seeing what happened to AJ in that Ruiz fight, Ortiz must have been kicking himself. His management must have been kicking themselves, you know? So, yeah, he's at this stage looking for the AJ fight apparently now, because where else is he going to go? He's like 40-something years of age. He didn't look good against Charles Martin. He got dropped a few times there. Punch resistance perhaps isn't what he used to be. Yes, he's dangerous with a left hand and he's technically good and all that kind of thing. But the time to get AJ probably was then. You know, even though AJ obviously lost to Alexander Usyk, I think that he'd be more cautious against Luis Ortiz at this point. Try and keep him on the end of a jab, keep him on the outside. I don't see Ortiz being able to outbox AJ the way that Alexander Usyk did, because Usyk's just a way better boxer than Ortiz. Younger, more mobile, better footwork. Ortiz is very stationary these days. So, yeah, I can see AJ actually outboxing Ortiz on the outside, keeping it safe, all that kind of thing. If Ortiz had actually taken that offer to face AJ a few years ago, that is the opportunity that Ortiz really should have jumped on, because AJ was still kind of aggressive then, and maybe Ortiz would have got stopped, but there would have been opportunities for Ortiz to land that big left hand. That's what I'll say about it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below anyway about Eddie Hearn claiming that he hasn't received this offer from Frank Warren for the Joshua Joyce fight. Do you think that he's telling the truth? Do you think he's lying? Do you think that Frank Warren is telling the truth or lying? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And if AJ was to fight Joe Joyce, how do you see that fight going? Also, if AJ fights Luis Ortiz, what do you think of that one? Let me know.